Hello everyone, this is Ben Dunn. Sorry I didn't do a video yesterday. I was preoccupied with my move to San Antonio. I will unfortunately be not doing videos here and there as often until the move is complete, which should take a couple of months, but I'll try to do my best to enlighten everyone with my words of wisdom, as they say. But today I was thinking about things as I usually do, and I know that can be a very dangerous thing, as they say. But I was contemplating the state of American superhero comics and why it has fallen from grace. Let's face it. American superhero comics ain't what it used to be, and it got me thinking about what it was about American superhero comics that so dominated the comic book landscape for so long, and now seems to have pretty much a shadow of its former self. Now, my own personal belief, really, if you really want the truth, is that real men and stop writing superhero comics. Okay, there I said it. And, superhero comics were written and drawn by men who fought and lived, and experienced things outside of them normal little bubble, little white castle that a lot of writers seems to have holed themselves up in now. At least the modern ones that I see. The thing about American superhero comics is that it's lost its audience. Men in American superhero comics were meant for men and boys. Let's face it. That's what their primary audience was. And while I have nothing against, other people writing superhero comics, we need to have a return of real men coming in and taking over writing superhero comics. And what do I mean by real men? Well, I'm talking about the testosterone, physique, noble hero that they were meant to be. I did a previous video, where I talked about the pussification of the American superhero comic because they're being taken over by writers who don't know what the hell they're doing. Let's face it. If they knew what they were doing, sales would be through the roof. People would be buying them. But as it stands, we're not experiencing that, are we? Reality is a funny thing. You cannot fight against reality. Reality, it is what it is. And the reality is that American superhero comics are dying. Why are they dying? Because they're being taken over by writers who don't know what the hell they're doing. Let's face it. If they knew what they were doing, then their sales, like I said, would be incredible. So why people don't care about American superhero comics? Because they suck. They're not superheroes. They're not heroes in the slightest sense because they don't appeal to a higher ideal. In the end, American superhero comics are they're fictional characters on a piece of paper. What they say and what they do represent something far greater than just simply drawings in a comic book. They stand for an ideal. They stand for things that are supposed to represent the better part of us. I would challenge writers, who write superhero comics to actually write for men and boys again. Find out what is appealing to them and focus on that. I think that if American superheroes were to return to its basic roots of what made them so iconic to begin with, I will predict that sales will start to rise. I understand that the big two nominate the American superhero comics because they have very iconic characters, but the thing about it is that they're no longer stand for what they were originally intended for. And that's, to me, a sad situation. And that's why the comic industry is dying, because we're not giving people the product they want. Would like to see the return of real men come back to doing American superhero comics. It's time to get rid of these, silly, agenda-driven, political, sexual, whatever, sexual deviancy out of American superhero comics, and come back to what make American superhero comics great to begin with. I promise that if you create a superhero, that appeals to your primary core audience, which are men and boys, and what I'm talking about, of course, is the ones that really want to become men and boys become men. Is one of those things that I'm sure is a pretty touchy subject, but I'm a boomer, so I don't give a flying flip, what people think nowadays. I just want to see one of my favorite genres, American superheroes, return to greatness again. And I think that if we can somehow get together and produce product that people want again, people will return to the comic book stores. We have to give people an excuse to come back. And I think that if we start producing product that will attract that primary audience back, I think it will rise like a phoenix from the ashes. Of course, that could be not. Maybe it's destined that American superhero comics die on the trash heap of history. But I refuse to believe that. I think, personally, myself, you don't have to believe what I say. You're entitled to your own opinion, and I respect that. But I think that if we can get real writers who know what they're doing, and know how to treat American superhero comics the way they should be treated, I think people will return to the comic book stores again. I really honestly believe that. But who knows? I could be naive in my thinking. I could be just grasping at straws. But what do we got to lose? Let's give it a shot. Let's hire some real men to write real superhero comics. Let's get the writers that know what they're doing, and bring them back to American superhero comics and see what happens. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. The demise will continue and it won't make a difference. But if I'm right, then it could give rise a resurgence, a renaissance, as they speak, and create maybe a new golden age for American superhero comics. But anyway, that's just my thought. Take it for what it is. Until next time, this has been Dunn signing off.